Okay, we are live. Hi, I'm Rod Massimo, founder and president of the Massimo Group. And the young lady to my right is who? Who is that?
Beth Azor.
One and only, Beth Azor. So we thought we'd share with you what we're going to do today. There she goes. She's all set, man. She's got it all down. We're going to share you what we're going to do today. I should have my Massimo shirt on, my Massimo hat on. Beth beat me. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to share with you concisely what you all should be considering starting or enhancing in regards to your prospecting efforts. Not substituting, no, but adding to, complementary, on both Facebook and on LinkedIn. We're going to go to a quick PowerPoint presentation and give you some outlines first. Then we're going to go live on the respective channels and mediums and platforms. And then we're going to come back for some questions and answers. We only have an hour with you. There is no way we can share with you how to prospect on LinkedIn fully. With my Massimo clients, our coaching clients, we do that in several sessions over several months to get it right, understand. Beth does the same with her coaching clients. It's a long time, but at least let's give you some things you can do right away to get started, right? And then some advanced approaches. You can always reach out to us for those needs. So Beth, you ready to go?
I am ready, Rod. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So let's do the blah, blah PowerPoint first. And folks, let's do this. You're just joining us. We got hundreds, literally hundreds of people with us right now. Share with us what city you're calling in from or joining us from, the number of years you've been doing commercial real estate, beautiful, or months in some cases, and what do you focus on? Put that in the question and answer box, not the chat box. So we'll look at that, Beth and I, as we're presenting, we'll understand who we're talking to, and we'll direct our message to you, understanding that. So again, if you're just joining us, here's what we're going to do. Beth and I are going to present both channels, mediums, Facebook, LinkedIn, how to start prospecting. We're going to talk about Facebook first. Then Beth's going to go live on Facebook and show you some things. I'm going to take over LinkedIn. I'm going to show you basic things you need to know. Then I'll go live and show you some things as well. And then we'll come back and we'll stop the PowerPoint and we'll go to pure question and answer. Hey, Beth, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, welcome to this digital prospecting on Facebook and LinkedIn. My name is Rod Massimo. I'm the founder and president of a company called the Massimo Group. I also have a company called CRE Perform if you want to assess the natural behaviors of anyone on your team or yourself. I've been doing this and a couple of things once in a while, over 30 plus years now. I've written a couple of books that have done okay. And my new book, Knowing Isn't Doing, Build the Business and Life You Desire. We're so pumped it comes out in October. So that's a little bit about me. Beth, what about you?
So I've been in the business a little longer than you, Rod, 35 years. I am known as the canvassing queen, as my hat tells you. And that reason is I've canvassed, knocked on doors over 10,000 hours. I am the founder of Azor Academy, which is retail leasing training around the country for large institutional clients and family wealth funds and just private owners of real estate. And I've written 2 books as well, Don't Say No for the Prospect and the Retail Leasing Playbook.
Awesome. Beth, let's talk about Facebook. You're up.
Yeah, so Peter Drucker said the day before something is a breakthrough, it's a crazy idea. When I had an intern walk into my office one day, Mackenzie, and she says, I think we should prospect on Facebook. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on any social media platforms. I said, that's probably the most stupidest idea I ever heard. And then I heard my teacher had heard that and went, oh, no, I'm sorry. You go ahead and try that, honey. Maybe it'll work. And 5 days later, we signed a lease with a chocolate store who had been in South Florida for 40 years in one location. And we had cold called, we had canvassed, we had sent mailers, we had done everything we could to get this guy. She Facebook prospects him and we have a deal in 5 days. Rod, I got on Facebook the next day and I've done about 11 deals from my Facebook prospecting. So let's go to the next. So this is what happens when you send a Facebook prospect a DM, a direct message to the business owner. This is what they see on their prospect page, or I mean on their Facebook page. And that, number one, is a lot easier to respond to or answer to than the 400 emails they might have gotten that day. Go ahead. And this is how it starts. So the first thing you need to do when you want a Facebook prospect is pick a targeted use you want to go after. So the first Facebook deal I ever got done was this Bike of America store that I'm going to tell you the story. So I literally went to Google and I wrote down these 20 or so bike store names of local stores in the South Florida market in my notebook. That's my notebook. And you can see the fourth one down with a check mark, Bike America. The check marks were that day's bikes I reached out on Facebook. Next. So this was their Facebook page. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little box and it says message. I clicked that and wrote the following. Hi, I own shopping centers in Broward County and wanted to know if you'd like additional locations. I wrote that Friday afternoon at 12:41. At 4:35, I got a response. Hi, Beth, I'm Roque, one of the regional managers. I'd like to call you. We call, I talk to him. He tells me that he's negotiating with another location down the street from my shopping center. But they'd been doing it for 3 or 4 months. And he wanted things to, he didn't think it was going anywhere. Maybe my shopping center would work. He said there might be an issue with distribution with bikes. He needed to talk to his boss. At Friday night at 10, I said, did you speak to your guy, meaning your boss? And he also said, maybe he signed the lease already down the street. So I said, did they sign the lease in Jacaranda? I hope not, smiley face. Next page. He says, I'll call you tomorrow. We have the opening of the Pembroke Pines store today. I just got home. I'm opening up the email right now to look at it. I had sent him an email with 2 locations. I said, great, lots of success tomorrow. I need a new bike. I should come buy one from you. He said, let's do it. I'll call you tomorrow. Next. The next morning, Saturday morning at 11:37. Hi, Beth. Gary Mercado here from Bike of America. This is the owner. Roque gave me your number. So he calls me, we talk, and he says, I want to go see the space. He then writes back, we're going to go out about 5 o'clock to look at the one closer to the mall. So that was the one of the 2. I said, did the zip code prove okay? That was the distribution issue they brought up on the phone call. He said, yes, for sure. I said, do you want me to meet you there? Because in retail, Rod, sometimes they want to just drive by and they don't really want us there. He said, that would be good if you can, but I understand. He's thinking Saturday afternoon, doesn't want. I go, don't worry, I'll be there. Next. The funniest thing, and here's on the left, for any of the retail listeners, everyone knows this never happens. So we're supposed to meet at 5, and he writes to me at 4:54. We're here. So he brings 5 people. We show him the space. He has not signed the lease down the street. And so I write him an email like 7 o'clock. I think we had an hour tour, and I said, Gary, it was a pleasure meeting all of you. And then I said, and I find out during the tour that the other location just found out that they needed to add an ADA bathroom to the space, which I know it's going to be a 3-month delay additional. So I wrote, I asked my GC, and he can get the painting done and the flooring without a permit, which could take months in certain municipalities. Hint, hint. He says, we're very interested. I said, and he says, if you don't mind, can I call you tomorrow and discuss some things? Sunday. I said, sure, no problem. We talk on Sunday, we make a deal, we move forward. He says, send me a lease. Monday morning, he writes to me, good morning. I'm like, okay, I love your anxiousness, right? I said, my assistant just got to the office, she's working on your lease. He says, sweet, I'm chatting with the other broker for the other location. I'm like, let me know if you're gonna move forward with him versus me. Nope, I wanna move forward with you. Next picture. There we are, signed lease in a Walgreens parking lot. From Friday to the following Thursday, we signed a lease, Rod. So my life was changed forever. So next slide, please. So why does it work? There are a few reasons. 1, you bypass the gatekeeper. So 10,000 hours of literally physically canvassing, I've probably met 9,000 gatekeepers. In Facebook, 95% of the owners are monitoring their Facebook pages, not the gatekeepers. So you're directly getting to the gatekeeper, which is a beautiful thing. Number two, there's this guy, Rod, I'm sure you've heard of him, Mark Zuckerberg. He has this thing that he sends you a message, as you can see circled on the left. Whenever someone sends a message to a business, Mark's team sends you an email saying, or a little text that says, maintain your excellent response, meaning respond to the person who just messaged you. So he's encouraging the business to respond to the customer. And then lastly, I addressed it earlier, supply and demand. When they get home from work at night, they have 400 emails, or they check their Facebook page and there's that little one. And they're like, oh, let me see what that's all about. So it's a supply and demand, bypassing the gatekeeper, and Facebook helping us saying, you better respond so that your algorithms stay high. Next.
I think that question is coming already. When you say the algorithm and what we're highlighting as far as Zuckerberg sending you a text, is that because it's not your personal page, that's a business page? Is that correct?
So I'm going to tell you the rules. The rules are you have to send the DM from your personal page. You're not allowed to send direct messages from your business page. Okay, but when you get the message from Mark, it comes to your business page. This is a DM from Facebook on my business page. But for us salespeople who are prospecting, we have to prospect from our personal page.
Got it.
And these are the rules. So you're helping me here. So it has to be from your personal page. You need to limit it to one sentence. You cannot cut and paste, or they catch you, then you're spamming, and no links. And you can do 10 to 12 at a time, then Facebook stops you, but you can do it 3 to 4 times throughout the day. So I try to do it at I can do 10 to 12 in about 20 minutes. So probably 3 mornings a week around 7:30 to 8, 8 to 8:30, I'll do 10, then I'll stop. And then I'll usually do it 10 o'clock at night watching Netflix. Every once in a while, I might do it during the middle of the workday, maybe if I'm waiting for my son at a doctor's appointment or something like that. But I was in a group with, and I'm gonna, in the next page, we'll talk about a return of investment and time and what the ROI is. But I had a group and I said, okay, is everyone seeing the return, the ROI that I am? Of every 10 I send out, I usually get 4 responses. 3 are no thank you, and 1 is send me more information. 1 out of 10, pretty darn good. 4 out of 40, pretty darn good. I was in a group doing a talk like this, and a kid raises his hand and he goes, I'm not seeing those. I'm not getting those. I'm not getting anywhere near those numbers. And I said, well, I asked, there's about 100 people in the room. Who's doing Facebook prospecting? 20 people raised their hand. And I said, are you guys seeing those percentages? And they all did, but this guy. And I said, okay, after the talk, come up here and show me on your phone what's going on. Well, Rod, he had a book. Hi, my name is John. I work for the MASSIMO group. And then, here's the link to my property. It's got to be one sentence. And I'm going to show you live on my page in a minute. So let's go to the next, which is what I just.
Hold on, I'm going to ask you for the next. So let's talk about this. Talk about this. I have a question. Go ahead.
So the results are 4 out of 10 respond within 24 hours. 3 of those 4 are not interested. 1 asks for more information.
So Beth, what are your statistics that I'll share ours in a second. What are your statistics on phone call ratios? Let's say it's what out of 10 get a connection, and how many of those connections get a next step, a meeting or whatever it might be. Do you have numbers for those?
I don't, because I'm not a Massimo coach client. Obviously, I need to be, so I have those numbers, right? But I will tell you, my cold calling is awful, but my canvases, I probably get my odds on my results on canvassing is 1 to 40. I show space to. But cold calling, I bet it's 1 per 200. I'm a terrible cold caller.
Okay, and statistically, looking at just numbers, whether Massimo clients or not, I mean, they're going to range connections, making dials, actually talking to a decision maker, to maybe 2.5 out of 10, you're going to get a decision maker. And then how many dials do you make to get a next meeting, a conversation, whatever the next step might be. Yeah, maybe 2 out of 100, 3 out of 100. That's just overall for all CRE that we look at when we hear about how we hear. So we're not suggesting you stop calling. That's not it. But look at the efficiency when done correctly. And Beth, I think you said 20 minutes. Is that what you said?
20. I can do 20. I can do my 8 to 10 in 20 minutes. And right now I have this challenge going on where in August we're doing the Calendar Club Challenge, where every day of the month they have to prospect. So on August 1st they did 1, and today they did 6. And one young lady said, "How do you do 8 to 10 in 20 minutes?" Well, you have to do the research in advance. So that targeted list. So right now you'll see exactly what my targeted list is when I open my Facebook page. So it's toys, barbecue grill people, I want golf cart companies. You're going to see, and as long as you do that prep in advance, that you know what the targeted list is, you can do 8 to 10 in 20 minutes like that. And the minute we told her that, she then posted the next day. Now she's the overachiever. You're only supposed to do 5 yesterday, and she did 20. But she said, "Oh yeah, I was able to do the 8 to 10 in 20 minutes. Easy peasy."
Yeah, and for you listening out there, there's several hundred people. Do not assume, well, that's retail. I don't do retail. That's not the point. The point is the approach and whatever segment you focus on. It could be multifamily owners. It could be insurance agents. It could be anybody. So just don't think it's what she's talking about applies to you. So Beth, I'm gonna stop sharing because I think it's time to go live.
I'm excited. Okay, share screen. Hopefully I can make this happen. Here we go. You ready? Okay. So here's my Facebook page. Okay, this is my Facebook page. So I gotta get rid of me and you. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So this is Happy Monkey Miami. So I wrote to her on Wednesday at 8:52. Any interest in a Christmas pop-up store in one of my shopping centers in Broward County? No rent. I'll talk about that in a second. Hi, Beth. This is Nicole. I'm the owner of the shop. Thanks for reaching out. We've been planning to do a pop-up for the holidays. This is perfect. We would love to discuss further. Which location are you thinking? I have centers in Davie, Plantation, and Sunrise. How many square feet would you want? We are operating 1,000 square feet. It can be smaller too. I have a center near Nova, and she says that would be great. We would like to see the space. Here's my email. So that's one. Okay, that's one that just happened a couple days ago. Here's another one. So I was flipping through a community news magazine because I want home improvement stores. I want barbecue stores, jacuzzi stores, pool supplies, because I have a lighting store already, a kitchen and bath design, and a window coverings. So I've been focusing on home improvement. So I said, so in this magazine, there is this billiards article. So what do I like? I like the fact that he's got another location, and I love the fact that he's spending money in a community magazine in a full page ad because he's got another location and he has money, because if he didn't have money, he wouldn't be spending money in marketing and ads. Would you be interested in a pop-up store, temp store for Christmas in one of my shopping centers? So here's the Mark Zuckerberg response, meaning now retailers and businesses do automatic responses, so Mark gets off their butt. So this was an automatic response. Hi, thanks for contacting us. We received your message and appreciate you reaching out. Okay, blah, 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 except for, remember, I sent this at 9:01. 12:08, hi, give me a call. I called him, we're showing the space tomorrow. He's in 2,500 square feet now. He's gonna look at a 6,000 square foot space of mine. So he went out of town. I said, when should we, set it up? He called me, we have a showing tomorrow. Now I'm gonna show you one where I'm not talking about, and I have multiple of these. Now you can see Itsy Bitsy is a toy store. StockX is shoes. Golf carts. Today I was on a golf cart tear. I want golf carts. I am thinking ahead to Christmas where I want to get traffic to my centers, and people I think are going to buy certain things, and I'm trying to get their attention by offering up pop-ups. But someone said to me, I did this recently, and like, well, what about just do one without any free rent, like tag to it? And I said, okay. So I did this while I was on a call. I'm going to get to it, bear with me. And you can see my gym, Eddie's tie. Hold on, it's Attitude Dancewear. Okay, so I'm on this call and someone said, well, stop back to offering free rent, and just what would you do if you weren't offering free rent? So back in, look at July 19th, I said, would you be interested in opening a pop-up store for back to school? I'll give you a great deal on the rent. This is the Mark Zuckerberg automatic response, blah, blah, blah. July 22nd, so this was 2 weeks ago, right, or a week ago. Hi, I own shopping centers in Southwest Broward and would love a dancewear apparel store as a tenant. After this COVID craziness, will you be looking for more, less, or different space for your business? Literally, before I was done with the webinar, Rod, I get this. Hello, our lease is up next year and we may be looking for another space. We can talk in January. Thank you for contacting us. And I said, awesome, we'll contact you in January. Or if you're interested in a pop-up for Christmas, let me know, no rent. So now, as I promised, I'm gonna do one live. Okay, we're good with that. And then maybe we'll see if, so I'm gonna look up printers. And I already kind of got this set up because I know we're short on time. We want Printing Planet, Printer Planet, Planet Printer. So you pull up Planet Printer and you go to this message bar and I write, hi, I own, I don't care about capital letters or anything. You can see I own shopping centers in Broward, Broward County. Would love a printer as a tenant. Any interest after this craziness? And I'm going to put in parentheses COVID. I think it's very important that you bring up COVID. That's it. I'm going to send it. Maybe I'm going to send it. And Rod, and so here's the Mark Zuckerberg response. Thank you for messaging us. We try to be responsive. We'll get back to you soon, or call us or send us an email. So probably I would send them an email, but maybe we'll get an answer before the end of our webinar now. So what do you think?
I think it's incredible. I think people do not realize the power of Facebook beyond, hey, how's my high school buddies doing, right? It's amazing the business you can create. I mean, people think of LinkedIn as the business platform, not Facebook. So I think it's amazing. I think we need to do some more work on Facebook.
And we do a lot of other things, like I'll just go to like the Weston, we have a submarket called Weston, and I'll go to Weston and I'll say, hey, you got Weston people, or, you know, Weston community, I own XYZ shopping center, you know, what do you want to see in my shopping center? And then they'll give me ideas. So there's all kinds of other ways to do it, but today I know we wanted to focus on direct messaging business owners, and that's, I did one live. I showed you guys my own Facebook page, and I hope you guys learned and try it. It works.
Oh, and by the way, we'll get to the questions. We promise we will after this session. Good questions coming in there. John Rankin, absolutely, this strategy will work for non-retail oriented stuff. Non-landlord oriented, absolutely. I don't care if you're a mortgage broker, a tenant rep, whatever you do, investment sales, this approach works. It's just about communication and the channels you're using. In this case, that's sharing. Hey, use Facebook. Okay, so with that said, it is 3:25. Beth took 20 minutes, shared with you a little about Facebook. Again, we can't go through this extensively because of time, but we want to give you something you could do right away. So for you all out there, start thinking about tonight. Yeah, grab a red pen and a piece of paper. Think about an industry or category you want to attack. Research in advance. That'd be the takeaway. And then tonight or tomorrow, start DMing, direct messaging these Facebook contacts and see what happens. Now, Beth, I have to ask you, people are wondering, just a quick question, then we'll get to everyone else. Do you need to be connected to someone to send a message?
Nope.
No, that's huge.
But you have to do it from your business, from your personal page. So sometimes people go, well, I don't want to open up my personal page to people. So you can make your page private, or you can create a new Facebook page that shows pictures of, let's say, your industrial properties or your retail properties or your office buildings, so that at least when you're DMing the person, if they go back to check you out, it says that you work in real estate and that you represent properties, et cetera. So Kara, who just was an intern and then my junior leasing agent for the last 2 years, she didn't want people to check out her personal Facebook page, so she created a Kara at Azor Advisory Services Facebook page, and then we populated it with a few pictures so that they said, okay, this girl's the real deal. She definitely has something to do with shopping centers.
Love it. Love that strategy. Okay, folks. Hang on, you got some questions for Beth. We'll get to them. Beth, you can actually look at those questions so you're prepared at the end. And then we're gonna jump onto LinkedIn right now. So let's do that. Let me jump back into our PowerPoint. Okay, Beth, can you see the PowerPoint?
I can.
Perfect. So let's move forward. Let's talk about LinkedIn. I'm sure most of you have LinkedIn accounts. I can be pretty confident most of you do. And I can be really confident most of you don't use it as you should. It's just that simple. LinkedIn is an amazing, amazing tool. So let me just show you a quick snapshot, just like Beth did. Hey, Rod, think about this for days. Should we set up a call and talk about the programs at Massimo? Been a couple of Zooms with you guys the past weeks. You got my interest, let me know, okay? Well, how do we get there? How do we get to someone saying on LinkedIn, I might want to work with you guys, which obviously is what we all want to, secure. People that want to work with us, right? Hey, happy to set you up with one of my strategists, who's in this case, Vince, and what's the best email to get you? Now, would I have, of course, Google this person, known they are, of course I would. I'm just engaging. I'll show you how we got there in a few moments. Okay, you need to know this. There are four C's to LinkedIn. If you do any of the four wrong, the rest don't matter, especially the first C, and that's the content. The number one thing you must nail, because then everything else is moot, is your profile. If your profile's wrong, just like Beth said, they're gonna go to that Facebook page. Is this person for real? If they check you out and you have that same starry astronomy stable background on LinkedIn that comes with the package, you're not real. You're just not. There's a lot to your profile. I'll quickly go through it today, but just know this. You got to nail your profile. The rest doesn't matter. Then after your profile, of course, we got to connect. And connect means going out and asking people to connect, right? Now, there's certain ways to do that. You can do what Beth said, don't do, copy and paste, long books, all about you. Good luck with that approach. Most will say no, they will. Or you could take your time to research on why you're connecting with somebody, or simple, I see that you're in the commercial real estate industry as we are. I just thought I'd like to connect. It doesn't need that deep to connections. We'll show you what we mean by that. Now, here's the problem that you all don't want to do. And that, of course, is, if I get my PowerPoint to work, is the cultivate. Cultivate means I can't go, hey, Beth, I just met you. You want to get married? That probably isn't going to work. One, because I'm married, but two, because she doesn't know me, right? And why would someone want to work with you unless you cultivate the relationship? Now, here's the good news. You can cultivate a relationship just like Beth showed you just now, over a couple of days. And then, yeah, let's talk. It could be a couple of months. Understand that. But understand you have to cultivate that relationship, and then and only then will you be able to close. You have to understand these four things. If you get them wrong, you're not going to get any work on LinkedIn. So with that said, let's go to profiles. Profiles. This is my profile. Now, a couple of key things here. You look at this and there's a message. The message is not about me. It can't be about me because you're not coming to my profile to hear how great I am. That would be a big mistake. The message should be, like everything else, about your audience. Why would my audience want to connect with me? Why would they want to cultivate and communicate with me? So this first top section, for some of the people, old fogies like Beth and I'm sorry we know what top of the fold means. It's an old term for folding a newspaper and reading what's on top. It says what's on top, the headline's not interesting. I'm not going to open that paper. I'm just not. Just like an email. I'm not going to open that email. Your profile needs to be right on target about your client, and then ways to contact you and connect with you. I'm actually going to go into my profile in some detail in a few minutes, but first I want to get to some specifics around how to connect. Now, by the way, of course, then Beth has her profile. Where's Beth promoted? Well, she has a book club. Well, I'm an avid reader. I might love that book club. She's the canvassing queen. Beautiful. I love that. Now I'm going to show Beth today how she could take that concept and make it tag to her name for now on going forward on LinkedIn. That's the one thing I would change on Beth's profile. Besides that, I love it. I love everything about it. I can connect her. I see it's all about things that are coming up. It's Retail Live. Hey, I'm a retailer. or a retail broker. Whatever it is, I know looking at this, that's all about retail. It's all about improvement. Maybe a retail broker, maybe a real retailer. It doesn't matter. It's about the other audience. Not so much about Beth, which is really important. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, her website is bethazor.com. So just figure that out. Okay, so a couple quick things we'll go through really quickly. To connect, you do searches. You could Google how to do a search. It's pretty basic. Number one thing I would do, and this is a one that we're having our clients at Massimo do, I'll share with you because knowing isn't doing. People in your organization. Are you connecting with people, if you're in a big firm like JLL or Cushwick or SVN or anyone, right? Or a small firm, regional firm, do you have connections with everyone in your organization? Because guess what? People do deals in other markets. People need help in other markets. Some of our clients are getting a lot of deals right now because they're reaching out through LinkedIn to others in their organization, giving them information. So dream clients, absolutely. Industry, yep. Similar job title of your avatar meaning ideal client, yep. You want to search for people that you want to connect with. It's not just clients, but it's influencers to those clients. Expand your web. And then you can start with the family members and colleagues and people you meet, all that, absolutely. You know this. You're going to get these slides. We're going to go quickly. We are. You need to invite people. Now, there are rules, like Beth shared rules on Facebook that I won't share today, but I will tell you there's a limit and cap to how many connections you can make any given day. I believe right now, as of this week, the rule is no more than 80 a day. Don't do that. Like Beth said, start small, build winning streaks. That's what you want to do. Start with 10, maybe 20 at most a day, connecting with people, inviting people. We'll show you how in a minute, okay? And then, of course, it's got to be a personal message. Don't use the sales pitch. Please don't use that. I can't tell you how many. Look, we all get them. We all get connection requests. I say no more than I say yes, because I have no desire to work with somebody that all they want to do is sell me what they do. I just don't want to do that. So understand that as well. And yeah, understand you're always serving people. So the best thing in here, and what I loved about Beth, if you saw Beth's message on Facebook, she said, I hope not, when the guy was doing a deal, right? Then smiley face, sunglasses. Now, if Beth was a professional, buttoned up and said, I certainly hope you have the best of opportunities. And if anything happens, I'd love to work with you in the future. That's not Beth, right? And that's not me, and that's not you. Be authentic in your messaging. It's so important that people know who you are, what you stand for, your culture, and so forth. Now, we'll get to this, standing out to relationships, sending in-mail messages, all that can work, sending welcome letters, personalizing things. You can do all that. Because of time, I'm going to start skipping some of this stuff, but it's important that in cultivation, it's really important that you make sure that you're moving forward, if at all possible. You're asking open-ended questions. You're not just taking something for granted, like a statement from them and going, okay, sounds great. I'll show you live. I'll go live on my Facebook and show you a conversation that I've had in the last day or two and how we're massaging that message to be more open and, you know, be more giving. You want that. Okay. And certainly you're going to follow up and help you connect and all that good stuff. I'm going to jump into here. You're going to cultivate through 3 ways and connect with messages. Easy to do, sending messages, notifications, birthdays, work anniversaries. If you're on LinkedIn, you get these. But what do you do with them, right? You say, oh, that's nice. Do you click the standard congratulations, Joe? Every time you see a work anniversary or a new position, you're not differentiating, you're not. So that's an opportunity as well. And yeah, to make comments on posts, those are huge. Making comments on someone else's post. And then say, you know what? That person brings value. That's what I want to connect with. So understand there's so many ways on LinkedIn to get started. So here's we go. Let's show you an example of a recent conversation. Now, for these purposes, I took out the prospects or connection name. But when I go live, I can't stop that. So I'll just try to grab one person and show that. So, hey, thanks for connecting for this, your connection request. What made you reach out? Okay, when people ask to connect with you, ask them why. Just don't say, yeah, got it, but ask them why. Is there anything certain you're looking for? Don't ask, is there any way I can help you? That's not the first question you ask. But ask them, ask them why. Because when they tell you why, then you got information, right? So this guy or girl over is watching an interview with me. And I figured it'd be wise to connect with me and learn more about our programs. Okay, so this was from a webinar, I believe. And they said, you know what? I need to learn more about the MASSIMO group. Hey, I love it, right? So-and-so is a great guy. I think that was a competitor of ours. How's your lead generation coming right now, right? With everything going on, what did Beth talk about? Chaos, COVID, it's happening. Why not mention it? It's just there. Don't avoid it. So with everything going on, hey, how's lead generation coming? Now, why did I ask that question? Because obviously we can help with lead generation. We can provide resources based on how they answer. Right? Just think about that. So, hey, saw your post. Oh, this is a different person. I'm sorry. Different person saw our post. I think I'd spare a couple minutes. I'd like to talk to you personally. Great. Perfect. I love that. They saw a post and they wrote this to me. Okay. Because why? Because I post all the time. Now, all the time, by the way, does not mean every day. It just means consistently throughout the week. Maybe every other day, 2 days a week, whatever it might be. So you have to consistently post, right? And so I give my number, hey, reach me. Now here's what we call the high value. Most of you won't do this and you're making a mistake. When I say high value, someone tells me they need something, let's give them what they need. Well, am I giving my, the secret sauce? There's no such thing as secret sauce, first of all. Secondly, the more information you give, you get something in return. So this person was talking about prospecting and how it's changing in the COVID-based environment. And we knew through working with hundreds of clients across the country that that's not the case right now. Prospecting is working. Worked in end of March and has worked since. So we said, look, here's things you need to think about. Here's some key questions you need to ask. And we went on. Here's how you should segment your database. And we went on and on and on, right? And then he said, yeah, that makes sense. You know what? Let me think about all those and come back to your questions. Now, let's go back so we don't see the date of this one. This is March 30th. This is the beginning of COVID. I'm sorry, not the beginning, but you understand. Comparatively, relatively, it's the beginning. So on May 8th, remember cultivate? Remember, Beth's not going to marry me tomorrow. It's going to take me a while. Well, May 8th, hey, I've been thinking about it, Rod, and you know what? I think we need to get together. Why? Because the whole time I'm posting content, I'm posting value. They're reading it. I know they're following me. And yeah, I never called this person in between the discussions. I wouldn't, right? Because they didn't allow me to call them. They didn't ask me to call them. But I continue to stay that cadence of staying in front of them. And therefore, guess what? They now become a client. So I want you to understand these 4 C's and how it works, right? The connection we're going to talk about right now. So let's go to content. And I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. Let me stop sharing, and I'm going to go back to a share. Beth, if you just give me a thumbs up, you can see my screen.
I can.
Okay, see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to a live conversation. This is last week, right? Hey, thanks for connection. What made you reach out, Anthony? So now we're going to disclose someone's name, but that's okay. So what made you reach out, right? Hey, I'm with SVN Florida or SVN Phoenix. So I already know now he knows someone that's on my team. We have a coach named Mike Bagos who works with SVN Phoenix, right? He said he wants to reach out to me for whatever reasons. I said, you're so kind. How's business right now? Open question. Open question. Hey, how's business going? I'm not selling anything. I just asked a question, right? He replies. I say, great to hear, right? Now I ask a second question, right? How you securing clients? What strategy are you using right now? Well, I'm chipping away. I want to get to the point where he says, you know what, maybe I need to talk to you versus get off this, can remain on this LinkedIn thing. He starts telling me how he's getting business. I'll go through that really quickly. I said, great, look, we talked to a lot of people like you. Here's what we do. He says, sure. And we say, guess what, awesome. We're gonna have someone give you a call. And that happened, by the way, that's today, that happened in less than a week. In less than a week, from a connection to a cultivation to not a close yet. Now we got to talk to him and see if we fit and all that good stuff. So just understand where you are from a connection standpoint. So let me quickly jump into my profile. Beth, can you see my profile?
Yes.
Okay. So first and foremost, again, it has to be about your audience. Remember that. And also, I'm going to grab a quick tool here. Okay. So this is about my audience. This is the result I want them to achieve, and they will achieve by working with the Massimo group. So it's about them. And I tell them a little about me. And you see this thing right here, which is so important, personal business coach. Because here's what's going to happen. Whenever I post, when everyone tags me in a link, when everyone mentions me in LinkedIn, it's going to say Rod Santamassimo, personal business coach. That's one of the hacks. I'll tell you straight out. You ought to figure out, what do you want to be known as? So if I was Beth Azor, quite frankly, I would jump into my profile. I'd edit it right there. And after my last name, Azor, I write comma, the canvas queen, with a canvassing queen. I apologize. So no matter where she posts going forward, everyone is going to know that she's the canvassing queen. Not by looking at a profile, but again, no matter where I show up on LinkedIn, what I want to be known as will now follow me. That's a big deal. This is what we're talking about. Content, your profile matters so much. It just matters. I always have a call to action. Hey, let's get started. Let's start building, right? Here's how to connect with me. Let's start building. Can I put my phone number in there, somewhere in here? Absolutely could. Another real important thing about this is your profile is dynamic. If you haven't changed it in the last 2 months, something's wrong, because your audience is not the same audience as February 2020. In fact, it's a completely different audience. It is. My message changed about 45 days ago. First, I just talked about COVID on top. I talked about recession. Recession can be a negative word sometimes. Then I changed it to say, hey, now that we know what we know, let's start building from here. So understand, all this in here needs to be dynamic for people to know it's outdated. You're not active on the channel. Why do I want to talk to you? So remember that as well. Make sure about you is about you, but make sure the message is about what they're going to get by working with you. Really important. Beth has these. I have these. You should have these. Where are you even featured? What are some videos? Was it a book? Was it a video? Was it a podcast? Was it whatever? Put this in all your featured section. Let them know you're different. I can't see this on your profile, but you can certainly see this on my profile. Now, this is something people generally ignore. What a colossal waste of connection opportunity. So 1,140 people on the last period have seen my profile. Let me share what happened. I can now see who's looking at my profile per week. Okay, decent numbers. But more importantly, what this tells me and would tell you if you're consistently posting, which pieces of content are resonating with the audience. What did I do the week of May 21st that creates such a high velocity of visitors? Was it a webinar? Was it a post? I have to go now back and look, and my team does that. What did I do on this date? What did I do on this date? So what's causing this momentum? Because of that, then I can figure out messaging that will resonate with people I connect with. And speaking of connecting with, here you go. Here are all the people viewing my profile, and I go down, and I can message any of them now. I can go to Karabov, and I get that last name wrong, I'm sorry, and say, hey, see, so you check my profile. Is there anything particularly you're looking for, right? What can I help you with, or are you looking for something particular, right? So now I can start connecting with all these people that I'm not connected with. Here you go, connection right here, not connected with, not a first connection. Max, so you look at my profile, and then you're looking for it. I can type it in right now and see if you return that message. And then I connect it, and then the message starts from there. And as you saw live, and you saw in our Beth and I's respective static posts, then you start having conversations. The next thing you know, you start doing deals. You start doing deals. So please understand that that section that I talk about, as far as what you're concerned on your profile, that section only you see, there are golden nuggets in there to start your connections today. Activity is important. Your experience is very important, of course. Education. By the way, you can sort your education to what you want to be first. I just like my Duke education before my undergrad, and CCIM, I don't want to be first. I don't mean just that's not as valuable to me as the Duke is. That's just a personal thing. Skills and endorsements, you need to have those. Recommendations, absolutely. I'll be the first to admit I don't have as many recommendations as I should because I haven't asked for as many as I should. Recommendations people will look at. If you don't have dozens of recommendations, right, based on your connections, you're not asking. Just like referrals, by the way, you're not asking, and that's one of the ills of commercial real estate brokers. But you need to ask for recommendations, right? So what I do is people say, give me a recommendation. Of course, I say, yeah, write it for me. I'll edit it and I'll give it to you. Write your recommendations. Have people post them for you. And then accomplishments and all other stuff, that's all important. But the key here is this. If I don't get past this, I'm not going down to see the rest. I'm not connecting. I'm not having a conversation. It's all about your profile. So with that said, it's time. Let me stop sharing for a second. Okay. It's time for you to be selfish. It's time for you to be selfish. So with that said, we're going to jump in now. Go to the question and answer box because Beth and I can see that. Don't go to the chat box. It's just not efficient for us. So it's time to start asking your questions. And Beth, there's several up there for you initially. Beth, can we take any of these?
Oh my goodness. And they're in the Q&A. So how is
Q&A?
Okay, so someone wrote, why charge no rent? So my theory right now for retail is I want to bring traffic to my properties. And I've done this in the past where I've created pop-up opportunities. For example, one was with the Miami Hurricane Caneswear store. I found him, I canvassed him in a warehouse. I brought him in for a pop-up during a first initial football season, and now he's been a long-term tenant, doubled his square footage, paying market rent. So it's a way to get their attention and say, let's do a pop-up for a couple months. You know, you pay electric and water and give me a deposit. You take the space as is. And if I'm right and their toy store or their golf cart store or whatever does well, then I win and they become a permanent tenant. And I've done that on probably 4 or 5 occasions. So I'm putting the no rent to get their attention. And then I'll say, you know, let's just do a pop-up. And if you are successful and you do the sales that I think you can do, then we could, you know, my goal is for you to become a permanent tenant. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'll take the next one from Casey. Casey, can you DM for sales? Beth, get ready for the next one from Fatina if you can at 3:25. So Casey, yeah, think about that, Casey. You reach out to investors, property owners, right? I noticed you own ABC Street. No doubt in these chaotic times, values will about to depreciate and bargains are to be had. You know, this is what I see happening. Or would you like a report? or something to get them to say, yeah, I want to talk about that, or yeah, show me what you have. So yeah, absolutely. If you're in sales, make the connections. But as Beth does, as we do, you got to do the research beforehand. Just don't start populating with DMs. Start doing some research. Fatina, Beth, want to talk about Fatina?
Certainly. So Fatina, what I would say is I lease shopping centers or I lease space and we're looking for great tenants. And would you be interested in more? You know, what I've been saying to people is, do you want more space, less space, or different space after this COVID craziness? Because I think there are some people that are going to want more space. I think there's some people that are going to want less space, and there's definitely some people that are going to want different space. So, but I would just say I lease properties or I represent properties. My job is to fill vacancies in this office building, in this industrial, in this retail. Are you thinking about different, more or less space?
Okay, great. Boomer, your question, can we use this on Twitter? Sure, but you want to use it where your audience is. So if your audience isn't on Twitter, it's not going to work. Personally, I find this is us and the MASSIMO group where our audience is, which obviously are professionals, mostly in commercial real estate. They're in LinkedIn. They are. And these conversations are just seem to be more open on LinkedIn and Facebook. Yeah. I'll tell Beth, we haven't done that yet. But we will starting next week. But I just haven't found Twitter really to be a communication piece versus a posting piece. And that's a one-way versus a two-way. So from that end.
Haim, I think that's how Haim Mizrahi said he just sent 10 DMs on Facebook to law firms downtown Vegas. Already got one no thank you and one reply saying, can I send additional information? Yay! See, it works.
Haim, hold on. Haim, the response now is not yes. The response now is absolutely, of course. Can you tell me what exactly you're looking for? Or give me an idea of what you're looking for. So it's just not back, chase. We don't play the chase game. Just find out, open the question. We're looking for this. Why are you looking for that? Start cultivating a relationship versus going crazy. I got one. Well, now cultivate. You got a connection. Now cultivate. Does prospecting on LinkedIn require? No, there's no premium subscription or sales navigator. We use the basic membership to have our opportunities. That's just what we do. And a lot of people are asking about premium. No, we use basic LinkedIn. So I hope that helps. Beth, anything you want to respond to?
I'm looking. Special activities here.
Let me take this one. Do you generate emails from LinkedIn, or is it just gentler and more likely response if you just message them? First of all, I do know, and I've been coached by LinkedIn professionals who do email people that they're connected with on LinkedIn. If you don't know this, folks, you all have access to every email of every connection you have. It's a fact. How you get it? It's pretty simple. You Google it, and you can download every email of every LinkedIn connection you have. But then what do you do with those emails? They haven't not given you permission to email them. They haven't. So you could be spamming them. So be careful how you use those emails. But if you do it one-on-one, hey, we're connected on LinkedIn. I want to just ask you, you can do that. But yes, Steve, definitely gentler to stay on LinkedIn. Beth, you have anything?
Well, just a couple more comments on LinkedIn. I see a lot of people that post their listings on LinkedIn, and I think that it's better to maybe do a tour of the office space, or if you're selling a shopping center, standing in front of it and saying, hey, I just got this listing, I'm selling this multi-tenant retail property. So making it more personal than just throwing up a flyer, I think gets more attention. I also think that when you share articles, a lot of people just share posts or share articles that they see come across their feed. And I think for you to start standing apart from the rest of the competition on LinkedIn is to put your 2 cents about the article. So like, I just read this article about blah, 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 and I agree, or I don't agree, or I love it, and this is why. I think that, and then CC people that you think would, like the article or be interested in the article, because when you do it, so if I see an article, let's say about sales training, and I disagree, maybe it's talking about scripts or something, and I say, well, I don't really believe in scripts or whatever, What do you think? And then I say, hey, what do you think, my friend Rod Santamosimo? What do you think about scripts? So now I'm going to now connect with his whole audience that is following him. My audience is going to see what Rod responds, and we're sharing a third person's article, and we have all of their followers. So in one share of an article and a tagging of another person, we have 3 audiences all in one. That's a really good way to grow connections in your community.
Beth, take a look. Answer a question. Beth, take a look at Jimmy's question at the 3:51 p.m. mark. If you look at that one, and I'll answer the next question. DMing, look, is it more likely to cultivate relationships on Facebook versus DM? Every audience is different. I mean, if you joined us before we started, Beth was talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and how she knows him and how they're connected, and I spent time with him as well. Gary would tell us all the time, first of all, number 1, be yourself, and 2, understand where your audience is. So is one going to be better than the other? If you understood your audience, you know where they want to be. And this is not one better than the other. It depends on your audience and your target market. Beth, you have an answer for Jimmy?
Yeah, so Jimmy's asking, would you use this strategy in the capacity as a broker to owners of strip centers to their personal Facebook profile saying, would you like to get the listing to lease their space? I think that's what Jimmy's asking. So absolutely, I think that, Jimmy, if you drive by and you see a center that's got a lot of vacancy and you want to talk to him about his property, I think that you could Facebook, if you find him on Facebook and you could say, I'm a fan of the market that you own your property in. And I have had success down the street leasing ABC Plaza. Would love to know what your future strategy is in this center. I think starting a dialogue through DMing on Facebook is completely fine. I'm sure no one else is going to do it. And I'm a big believer in separating from the pack. So why the heck not? So I would do it for sure.
Okay. And Barry, to your question about Instagram, I don't know anything about Instagram. Again, go where your audience is. Just don't start posting. Look, you wouldn't spend money advertising on a channel unless you really knew that your audience was listening. You wouldn't. So just go where your audience is.
And I would say for Instagram, as everything I did on Facebook, everything I did today, you can do on Instagram. And what I find, so that, remember the Printing Planet, they weren't probably going to be on Instagram as much as maybe the like a hot, sexy restaurant. So restaurants and cool concepts all have Instagram pages. What we find is that if they are big on Instagram, they usually have a social media person as a gatekeeper posting that stuff. So we do use Instagram, we do DM on Instagram, but I get a lot more success. My percentages are double the success or triple the success than I've done on Instagram.
Beth, I'm going to close out, but before I do, any closing remarks, comments, anything at all?
Thanks for being here. It's been our pleasure. I think Rod and I both love to teach and give value, and I hope this was worth an hour of your time today. Well,
Beth, I can't tell you how excited the folks are to have you on this session. So thank you so much, Beth. It's always so special. I would ask what your favorite color is, but I think we all know. But listen, folks, I want you to think about this. And this is pretty simple. It's a direct response here. You get an email. Great. How do you respond? How do you know this person? Where did it come from? You know nothing. You don't. You get a Facebook direct message. You get a LinkedIn direct message. And that same click, everything you need to know about that person is there to see, right? Everything, their profile, who they are, their interests, everything. So now you know, do I want to talk to this person or not? Don't discount what we're sharing with you. Again, it's not to replace your current methods. No, don't make that mistake. It's to complement what you're currently doing and maybe change some of the time you're allocating to what you're doing. Spend the time where you're getting the best results for you, and no one knows that answer but you. But I want to again thank the incredible canvassing queen, which Beth, I want to see that on your LinkedIn profile from now on. Canvassing queen, Beth Azor of the Azor Academy. You'll have her contact information. You'll get a recording of all this in the follow-up of that's come with this. I'm Rod Santomassimo of the Massimo Group. Hey, be well, stay safe, and let's move forward together. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.